Okay, this is a video response to Bella the Happy Loser. She had a video, uh, yeah, and in this video, the last portion of her name, Happy Loser, really showed. This is by far probably the worst video I've seen her make, and not only that, it's the most uh, insensitive, and really not well informed on everything. So I'm going to go ahead and respond to this. First of all, I'm going to put a link to it. Uh, I'm going to link the video anyway, but I'll put a link to it. Um, and the first thing she starts out saying is that she's tired of people on Stickam, or she said YouTube, and then she said Stickam. She's tired of people um, talking politics and about the election in the United States, and that nobody, or she doesn't care, and that a lot of people don't care, and that she won't watch any videos talking about the politics. And to me, that's fine. You know, if you see I made several videos on the politics on the election here in the United States. And if you don't want to watch it, then that's your prerogative. Move on to the next video. That's freedom of choice, if you want to call it that. It works the same. If you're listening to a radio station, you don't like the song, change the channel. You don't like what a talk show host is saying, don't listen to it. That's just part of the deal. Listen, I don't like a lot of talk shows I hear here. I don't like Oprah. I don't turn her on. That's fine. And when it comes to Stickum, I'm going to adjust this here. Okay. And when it comes to the rooms in Stickam, you know, if I'm in a room in Stickam and you come in and we're talking politics, again, you don't have to stay in that room. You may think it's boring. You may think talking politics and talking world events is boring. In the same way that I'm not going to sit in Yokup's room every night on Stickam to hear people talk about whether Jesus is real or not, or God is real, or the differences. To me, rehashing that is boring. So I don't go in there. So to me, that both of your complaints are really whatever. Whatever. So let's go to the next thing, and this is what really bothered me. So she talks about how she's glad, she's happy as long as no one gets killed. She's very happy when bad things happen in the United States. And one thing she does say, I'm going to rehash a little bit about when she's talking about the YouTube thing. She was saying, a lot of Americans say, well, there's a lot of Americans on YouTube, of course they're going to talk about, American things and, get over it, whatever. And then she said, what happens about the individual? I thought and she said, talked about the atheist community, talking about individuals and caring about individuals. But yet then she goes on and she talks about how she's so happy what's happening to the United States, uh, and goes and generalizes and doesn't think about the individual, doesn't think about all the people that she's come in contact on YouTube that may have a hard time or some suffering. No, she's happy about that. She's happy when she sees Americans suffer. Um, and then she goes on and says, and this is why I really knew she really didn't have any idea about what's going on in the world. Because she says if it were happening in some place like Germany, she would feel sorry for the people. Let me educate you. It is happening in Germany and in other places in Europe. So you can start feeling sorry for them, because it's the exact same thing happening in Europe as that's happening over here in the United States. Um, we're all connected, whether we want to be or not. We are all connected, and the systems that we have around the world, economically, we are all dependent on one another and all connected. Uh, she went on to say how people tell her, well, you should care about the election here in the United States because it affects you. And she says, no, it doesn't. But it does. It might not forever, but in today's world, it really does. We're all connected. Policies that happen here affect you over there, in the same way that policies in the Middle East and policies in Russia and China affect us over here in the United States. And as far as your Canadian comment, the Canadians are our cousins, brothers, and sisters. Many people have relatives in Canada, same as Canadians have relatives in the United States. We are much closer in culture than we are to the Europeans in culture. We share a border, and up until the whole 9/11 thing, the border was pretty much open. So I have no problem with them talking about the election as if they could vote, because if I could allow them to, I'd probably let them vote. But because it affects them even more than it affects you, the election does. So it just really bothered me, Bella, that you'd be so insensitive and mean-spirited as to be happy that the world. And then this is the thing that really got under my skin. She's like, you sort of deserve it, or you had it coming to you. And that's when I talked about her generalization. I had it coming to me. I go to work, I pay my bills, I pay my mortgage, and because the top 1% of wealth holders decide to get really greedy and steal money and package up and make this bubble in Wall Street and make a credit crisis, I had it coming to me. Something I had no control over. I had it coming to me. It was just really ridiculous. The whole video was just uninformed nonsense. And, it's the worst video I've ever seen you make, Bella. It really is. And I'm not one to wave a flag and talk about one country's better than the other. But, if I were to say to you that you had a civil war, that civil war that happened in your country, well, you had it coming to you. Okay, so sorry I got interrupted. I'm going to start over. So, yeah, it was really insensitive, and it really got me upset when she said that, she lumped us all in one little basket and said, we got it coming to us. And she's happy about that. If I were an insensitive person, it'd be like me saying, the civil war you had over there in Croatia, you probably had it coming to you. And the soldiers marching down your street saying they're going to do whatever, eat you or cut your heads off and celebrate with bloods in the street. Yeah, who knows, you might have had it coming to you for whatever reasons, It's just really ridiculous and insensitive, and it just pisses me off because, first of all, because it's not just this country that's going to suffer. All the markets and the credit is in crisis, okay? And you know who's going to suffer? The people who have no control over it. That's who's going to suffer. It's not Bush, it's not Obama, it's not McCain, it's not the Queen of England, it's not the Prime Minister of Germany, it's not the rich. The rich have their money secure. The rich have their money in things that aren't, they're going to be rich. Bill Gates can lose 50% of the value of his wealth and still be 10,000 times richer than most of us. And that's just, so yeah, that bothered me, and I just hated that video. That video sucked. And that's the bottom line. Your video sucked. Had no insight, and nothing really behind it. I think you put the title on there to get some subscriptions and to get some people to look at your video, because quite frankly, nobody cares about all the other stupid little subjects that have been drugged through the mud the last 6 months. And that's what I think. So yeah, Bella, next time you talk about what's happening here, do a little research and find out it's not just happening here. It's happening all over the world, and a lot of poor people are going to suffer. And a lot of people who aren't poor are going to be poor tomorrow. So, and it may even affect you, okay? It may even affect you. So.